And we welcome you to Vikings GamePlan. I'm Paul Allen. Now, in that Raiders victory, the team ran for 211 yards. What a perfect week to have assistant offensive line coach Andrew Janocko to kick off Vikings GamePlan. 5 years with the Vikings, works with Rick Dennison. And speaking of the run game coordinator, Rick Dennison, along with Gary Kubiak, and of course, offensive coordinator Kevin Stefanski, what are some keys to amassing all the rushing yards you guys are getting every single game?
Well, I think it starts with number 33. He's obviously a special talent, and he makes things happen sometimes when it's not there. But, I think that our front five play very hard. They're physical. They take a lot of pride in what we're doing. And, as we've progressed in this offense, it's been nice to see it come together and things work out so far in the season.
And the tight ends are blocking so well, specifically Kyle Rudolph, and your assistant offensive line coach, Dennison, run game coordinator. So when it comes to, in the ultimate team game, everybody complementing something to lead to this high-end productivity, how closely do you guys work with others outside of the offensive line to block?
Oh, well, it takes all 11 to make the team work in any facet of the game. Run, pass, protection. There are times you saw in the first game against Atlanta where Adam Thielen sprung the one block. You saw, Kyle and Conk and Irv, all those guys in there, they're blocking their butts off. And they make things go, whether it's front side, back side, or it's downfield somewhere. A block downfield can be just as critical, digging out of safety, stuff like that. So, it takes all 11 to make some of those runs happen.
Andrew, you mentioned Dalvin Cook. When it comes to scheme matching the skill set of Dalvin or really any player, how do you accomplish that? And what makes Dalvin Cook so good for what you guys do?
I think, one, he's just a tremendous football player, and he has natural football abilities. But when you look at the history of this offense and how you look back to Denver and Houston and all those places, that type of back, Dalvin fits all those skill sets. He can press the hole, he sees things very clearly, and he can put his foot in the ground and get north when he has to.
Now, when it comes to the way you guys run, and pardon me, but I'm going to attempt to get technical here. Part of it's called the wide zone, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when you're running a wide zone, which has been really successful for Cook, Madison, and pretty much everything you guys do, are there landmarks? Like, is there a map where the backs head to a landmark and then that's when they have to take off?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely aiming points for every play, and Kennedy does an unbelievable job getting the backs to understand those aiming points and when to press and when to cut. And as you look at it, our backs have a very good feel of how to press, and then at what point do they put their foot in the ground and get north, or can they capture the edge? If the tight ends have sealed the edge, can they capture the edge, or do they have to bend it back?
So with Dalvin Cook, super talented, fast, as we saw when he broke away at Lambeau Field, scholar of the game. I mean, you have to be smart too with football smart with what you're seeing, so you can go full speed, right?
Yeah, I think anybody in our run game really studies, really understands what defense we're playing, understands our scheme, and then it's our job to make it simple for them so they can execute and play at a high tempo and play fast and get in and out of the huddle and go.
Now, former offensive line coach Tony Sparano, the late Tony Sparano, how professionally and or personally did Tony shape you?
He had a tremendous impact on my life as a coach and as a person. Tony was just a good guy, an all-around good guy. And, past the tough exterior that we all joke and laugh about, he was kind of a big softy, and that was something that I always took from him. And, just understanding, loving the game, loving your players, because that's one thing that he did that was not unique, but it was something that stood out about him. Is he really cared about each player.
Yeah.
And that's something that I try to do when I trying to live up to what Tony left here, is really try to care about the player as an individual.
The new offensive line coach and or run game coordinator, Rick Dennison, a master's in civil engineering. Okay, he's been to multiple Super Bowls and won them as either a player or some form of a coach. Rick Dennison. What's it like working with him?
It's been fantastic. You said he's he's uber intelligent, and so it starts right there. So he has an answer, and he's very quick with an answer to anything that can come up. And then just anybody that's been a part of those championships, been a part of that amount of success, there's a reason.
Yeah.
So you want to hang on every word he says and really think about if he says something, whether you agree with each thing or disagree with each thing, there's a reason and there's an experience behind that.
I want to chat about a couple of your players. Second-year right tackle Brian O'Neill. Discuss his progression.
I think he's done a tremendous job taking the next step so far in the season. You know, Brian loves football, and he's a football guy. And that was one of the first things when we were looking at him in the draft. That's the first thing I wanted to know about him. Is he a football guy? And he is. And coming from Pitt, he has that blue collar mentality. He has that bring your hard hat every day, and he loves to study football, loves to study the game, takes care of his body, loves the weight room. So it's been fun to see him grow.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, on Alexander Madison's first career touchdown, rookie Garrett Bradbury got to the second level, smashed on Vontaze Burfict. It was super key to getting Alexander in my untrained opinion. Is that accurate? And Garrett, how well is he progressing?
First of all, we put a lot on Garrett's plate, especially for a rookie center. And what he does is he's very talented with understanding what we're expecting of him, getting everybody lined up, getting the call, getting everybody on the same page, and then he plays hard. You know, he's a dirt devil. He wants to be his face in the dirt all the time and finish on the second level, something we are always preaching to him. And he's looking for that block at the second level to take a good run and make it great.
You know all the names, you know all the numbers: Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman, Leonard Floyd, Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan, and so on, and Soldier Field. So given the way you guys run and with the success you've had with it, compared to how they play, specifically at Soldier Field, what are some keys to you guys running well against the Bears?
I think it just, it's obviously it's a unique challenge, and it's going to be something, we're looking forward to the challenge. We're looking forward to this opportunity to play against such a talented and special group. But it comes down to fundamentals and doing what we do well and doing it hard and just executing the little things. Everything's the details of what we do.